On the night the king's carriage came for her, May Tremlett sat by the window of her mother's cottage, twisting a thread between her fingers until it snapped. The spindle wobbled once and fell silent. Outside, the wind dragged through the trees like a long sigh, and May thought it sounded like someone being carried away. She had not meant to lie. Not at first. Her mother, a proud woman who feared nothing more than being thought common, had bragged in front of the royal steward that May could spin 5 skeins of flax in a single night. It had been said in jest, with laughter, and yet the steward's eyes had sharpened. The queen had been seeking a new spinner for her household, someone who could turn coarse flax into fine gold-colored thread. And now, May was to prove herself, or die a fraud. The castle was colder than she'd imagined. Its stones glistened with damp, and its corridors smelled of iron and something faintly sweet, like fruit left too long on a windowsill. The queen was not cruel, but her smile was hard to meet. "You will spin for me," she said. "If by dawn you fail, you'll leave your head on the spindle." May's hands trembled as she bowed. She was led into a round room with walls hung in black cloth. In the middle stood a spinning wheel, a pile of flax beside it like tangled sunlight. When the door closed, May sank to her knees. The truth pressed against her ribs, she had never spun a thread in her life. Hours passed. The candles burned low. May tried to twist the flax, to draw it, to wind it, but the fibers broke each time. Her fingers bled. She whispered prayers into the air until her voice broke too. Then, as the last candle sputtered, something stirred in the shadow near the hearth. It was a small man, no taller than a child, dressed in tattered velvet. His hair was the color of soot, his eyes black and wet like polished coal. He smiled, and his teeth were sharp enough to catch the light. "Poor thing," he said in a voice that rolled like smoke. "So much noise for one who cannot spin." May scrambled backward. "Who are you?" He bowed low. "Tom Tit Tot, at your service. I can spin better than any hand in this kingdom. Shall I help you, pretty fool?" Her heart hammered. "And what would you want in return?" He grinned. "A promise. Something small. I'll tell you when the time comes." She hesitated. She thought of the queen's eyes, the blade, her mother's foolish pride. She nodded. "Done," said Tom Tit Tot. He clapped his hands, and the flax rose like mist. His will began to turn, though he never touched it. The room filled with a soft hum, and thread poured from the wheel, gleaming gold, fine as breath. When the first light of dawn touched the window, every spindle was full. The queen was astonished. "You've done it," she said, her smile bright and false. "You'll spin again tonight. And tomorrow. For 9 nights more. If you succeed, I'll make you my son's bride." May's stomach turned. She wanted only to go home, yet she nodded. That night, Tom Tit Tot returned. And again. And again. Each night, he spun, his little will whispering like wind through reeds. Each morning, May presented the finished flax, and the queen's praise grew colder. She began to look at May as though she were not a girl but a puzzle, something to be solved, then broken. By the 9th night, May could no longer sleep. Her dreams were filled with the sound of spinning, the hiss of thread, the glint of teeth. When the final spindle was full, Tom Tit Tot stepped close. His eyes gleamed. "Now, my pretty fool," he said, "my payment." May's voice quivered. "What do you want?" He touched her heart with one black nail. "When you wed the prince, you shall give me your firstborn child." Her blood went cold. "No." His grin widened. "Then you would have been dead 9 nights ago." May wanted to scream, but her throat locked. Finally, she whispered, "There must be another way." Tom Tit Tot tilted his head. "If you can tell me my name before 3 nights have passed, you'll keep the child. Fail, and the babe is mine." Before she could reply, he vanished. The wedding came and went in a blur of gold and red. The prince was kind but distant, as though the world around him was made of glass. The queen watched everything with the calm of someone who had already chosen her ending. When the child came, May wept from joy and terror. A daughter, small and soft as a feather. For 1 week, she believed Tom Tit Tot had forgotten her. Then, on the 8th night, she heard the whispering hum of a wheel. He stood by the cradle, smiling. 3 nights, he said. Guess my name, or she comes with me. May's mind raced. She tried every name she'd ever heard. Will. Jack. Nick. Simon. He laughed each time and disappeared with the dawn. On the 2nd night, she sent her servants to every village, every tavern, to gather names. They brought back hundreds. She read them one by one while Tom Tit Tot sat on the edge of the cradle, humming. Each time she failed, his grin grew sharper. When the 2nd dawn came, he whispered, "Tomorrow, I'll come for what's mine." May did not sleep. She wandered the castle halls until she found herself in the queen's old room. It smelled faintly of herbs and iron. On a desk lay a stack of parchment filled with sketches of strange creatures, men with twisted limbs, women with eyes like mirrors, and small, black-haired things with needle teeth. At the bottom of the pile was a letter, yellowed with age. It read, "They come from the moors at dusk, where the wind hums like a wheel. The eldest among them is called Tom Tit Tot, the spinner of promises." May ran to the window. Far across the moors, she saw a faint orange glow, a cottage fire. The sound of spinning carried through the night. At dawn, she followed it. The moors were grey and endless, the grass whispering secrets to the wind. She found the cottage crouched in the hollow of a hill. Its roof sagged, its chimney coughed black smoke. Inside, the air shimmered with heat. Tom Tit Tot sat by his wheel, his back to her. He sang as he spun. Nimble the fingers, swift the thread. The promise made, the name unsaid. A babe to keep, a soul to claim. She'll never guess Tom Tit Tot's name. The words caught in her throat. She ran home before he could see her. That night, when he appeared again, May was calm. He leaned close, teeth glinting. "Well, pretty fool. The 3rd night, and your last chance." She pretended to think. "Is it Nick?" He shook his head. "Will." He laughed softly. She smiled faintly. "Then perhaps your name is Tom Tit Tot." The smile fell from his face. For a moment, the air turned sharp and cold. His eyes burned like 2 dying coals. Then he let out a cry that sounded like a torn bell, and the ground beneath him split. The spinning wheel shattered. The smell of smoke filled the room. When it cleared, he was gone. May fell to her knees, clutching her daughter. Years passed. The prince died young, and May became queen. Her daughter grew strong and gentle, and the people whispered that the queen had been blessed by the old spirits. But sometimes, when the castle was quiet and the candles had burned low, May would hear a faint hum, the sound of spinning from behind the walls. She would follow it, always finding nothing but a strand of gold thread glinting in the dark. She told herself it was only memory. That Tom Tit Tot was gone. But one night, her daughter came to her room, holding a small wooden spindle she had found near the hearth. "Mother," the girl said, smiling. "A man came to my window. He said his name was Tom." May's breath stopped. She took the spindle from her daughter's hands, and saw, carved into its side, the faint letters, TTT. Outside, the wind began to hum again.